Okay, so it is now recording, and I'll begin my presentation. Share my screen. Okay, and here we go. All right, let's see. Let me show video panel. Okay, guys, welcome to today's workshop. Thank you for coming. I know the title says CoMotion 2022 animation behind the scenes, but it's still the same SCAD workshop that you saw in the SCAD events page. It's more like because of like copywriting reason, we didn't mention commotion. So the commotion 2022 is a project I'll talk more about later. For those who are not familiar with it or from different major, it's like the signature event for like the motion media department. It's like our own internal creative conference, all run by students. Okay, so here is what we are going to cover today. Okay, first I'm gonna, introduce a little bit myself because I don't think not a lot of people know me. And then we'll cover like what is commotion, and then actually how the commotion. By that I mean like pipeline development, and also a role as an animation lead, and also some additional resources to kind of learn more about the event, the make production of the event. Then we actually get into the tech stuff, the software, learning how to convert like 3D stuff to 2D. And then, so I have some case studies, then we would do a demo to recreate one of the style frame from one of my friends' senior project. And then, let's hopefully, we have time. So hopefully, all this will take probably an hour, and we can save like 30 minutes for Q&A. And then, you can leave anytime if you feel like you reach the end of the, let's say, item number 4, right? You're not really interested in Q&A, feel free to leave. Okay, I'll let you guys know. Okay, anyway, let's begin with introduction. Yeah, also, this workshop is, like I say, it's more of like a case study. My previous workshop is more of like structure, like After Effects tutorial, Cinema4D tutorial. So if there's anything that you want to see later on, I'll show you what commotion is, the title sequence. Then you guys can ask me questions about what shots you want to learn more about in case I didn't cover them. Okay, so but anyway, introduction. My name is Desmond Du. I'm a peer tutor here in SCAD Savannah, and I don't only do workshops. I don't do one-on-one appointment. I'm originally from Singapore. Previously I did a BFA here in Savannah, right? I graduated in 2019. Work at Warner Media Studios, and I'm back, for my graduate degree. Some of my working experience, I was doing broadcast motion graphics at Warner Media. So I would work with NBA, Cartoon Network. Some of the past freelance project recently is like, I did work for MTV VMA, some advertising work for Saatchi and Saatchi and Salesforce. I also recently produced a course for Domestika, so that'll be out. So that's just my marketing promotion right there. Okay, so I'm a motion designer that specializes in animation using, coding and scripting, a lot of JavaScript expression stuff. So that's kind of like, how I express myself. Just want to establish that, because there's different type of animators. There's no like one fixed way of animating things. You find your own way. So here are just like quick snippets of my works. But then, I love motion design, but my true goal is to be a full-time house husband. That's why I'm here in SCAD. Got to get a degree, got to be more qualified. But that's just a joke. But my real passion, I love motion design, but my real passion is teaching. Since I was undergraduate, I've been doing workshops, software workshops. Now that the pandemic is somewhat over, we might actually do in-person workshop. This might be the last of the virtual workshop you see from me. But yeah, I done workshops, many years ago, and so here are just samples: the After Effects, the Cinema4D, this Newton stuff. I love to teach, and I still do it after graduation. And then coming back to grad school, I also did some workshop with the pandemic. It was all virtual, so which means say like most of it is recorded and uploaded, and so you can find all this. So if you see in the chat panel, right, you can see where these tutorials are, where these tutorials are. Yeah, whatever I'm showing you, this like preview animation for what you create in like the tutorials. So that playlist that I sent in the chat panel, it's an unlisted playlist. So it's so which means that you can access it through that link, right? And you can access it through my YouTube channel. So about my YouTube channel, I have the YouTube channel called No Stay Creative, because I want to help people, do their best work, and also just, get better opportunities. So you can visit it, subscribe, and see other videos that I have. And you can find me on this channel in case you want to ask more questions. Again, all these links are on the chat panel, right? I also just want to show you guys how the workshop link looks like. So if you click on the last link I put in the chat panel, it'll bring you to the workshop recordings that have posted. The most recent one was the project management one, and that's the basic Cinema4D for illustrative motion design. It's very similar to what we're doing today, right? If you want to learn expression, you can also watch that one. Okay, so anyway, let's get started. So what is commotion? So let's see, there's a lot of stuff to go through. For those who don't know commotion, if you go to scatcommotion.com, right? So Scat Commotion is our, like I mentioned, it's our motion media department creative conference. And so it's all student-led, and all the deliverables you see here are all created by students. Be it design, be it animation, the website itself, the writing, it's all done. And what's so attractive about this event is that we invite like employers to come and do portfolio reviews. Usually these leads to employment opportunities or internship opportunities over the summer or whatever. So it's a great way to connect, right? But the highlight of this event is creating a title sequence, which I'll show you in a bit. Here's the team, right? This is all the personnel that is like needed to kind of make this event all possible. So I was in the branding team as an animation lead. And then I work with several talented animators to produce the title sequence, the student showcase title cards, right? So, feel free to check out their portfolio. Everyone's doing great stuff. Okay, now, for those, again, who don't know what commotion is, guess we can watch the title sequence. Let's see. Okay, my sound is on, and here we go. Hopefully it...
I think you're muted.
Thanks, Molly. Oh, as I was saying, that was all done by students at 2 minutes of animation, and it's a lot of work. We spent about 5 months working on it to produce the whole event, all the deliverables. Starting, we start in the winter break or late, last few weeks of fall, and then all the way to like winter. And I'm gonna cover like the animation techniques that are developed out of this event or out of this project. So the first one is I was responsible for many things. The logo animation was one of them, and also the tunnel at the back, and also just giving supervision. We'll go through before we actually talk about like how we make things, right? Let's talk about how do we think about making things, because when it comes to like commotion, it's not just like, all right, I see a style frame, a sketch, a concept development, and I just animate. No, it's not like that. So I'm speaking more of like from an animation perspective. We want before we even begin to animate, we want to think of have like some sort of game plan. So this workshop is more geared in this beginning. This first segment is more geared towards like people who are into animation and who wants to take up leadership role. I want to talk a little bit about project management, or more like how do we break apart like an event like this, because that time sequence took like 7 people, or maybe even like 7 or 8 people to animate. I think probably more. I can't remember because we have too many. So I was in charge, and there was a lot of moving parts. So here are the samples of some of the style frames, which are like proof of concept before we actually animate them. There's a lot of things going on, but usually when I do work on say commotion, what I do is first is I start by breaking apart like the visuals. You want to go into the game plan, right? The reason why we do this is because you're not doing it alone. Honestly, you can do any, and you can produce, anyone can produce a tile sequence alone. Just give them enough time, give them enough resources, they can do it. But in the real world, we're always working with people. We never work in a vacuum by ourselves, right? So we want to make communication is very important when it comes to teamwork. You got to make sure you have clarity in the things that you ask them to do. So after looking at style frames, I break them into a series of visual elements such as this, right? Straight line, sprinkles. I'm talking about textures over here because texture is a big component of this project, because the primary shapes are just like circles, triangle, pyramid, cubes. Those are pretty straightforward, but there's a texture that makes it special. So in the beginning of the project, right, once I've broken down this, I would ask like one of my animators to focus on each one so we don't overlap like in terms of our deliverable. So Molly, who was one of our animator here, I asked her to just work on turbulent lines, right? She just made turbulent, like wavy lines, textures that will slowly build into the title sequence. So aside from like the visual element analysis, there's also a pipeline, right? So that's where we are. First, we observe and we organize the material. Then we start to be prepared. This is somewhat a pre-production state. We prepare all those animated textures, and then we kind of prep it. We render it out. We put an After Effects file on a Google Drive, which will later be implemented into the title cards, the live stream, social media deliverables, and the title sequence, of course. Subsequently, we're still in the production, after making a texture, we start modeling stuff, we start like framing shots and whatsoever. And in between, so that's for the 3D part right here, right? For the 2D team, or like the 2D animators, they will kind of be assigned a style frame, and then they will kind of research on like how to do it. They'll do motion tests, and every week, we'll just kind of they'll update me on like how they will produce a shot or what have they tried, and we troubleshoot together. Subsequently, once all this preparation is done and we have some sort of rough animation, we do a rough cut, and then we add in the type animation, and then we try to optimize the render, because it's like sometimes I feel like the thing that slows us down is just waiting for After Effects to just run preview the animation. Then we have the title sequence animation. Okay, so that's how you want to. So you can use this I guess, methodology for your senior project, right? You have, sometimes senior project is like your own thing, but you can ask your friends to help you out, and you can, if you have this framework, that makes your life easier. Okay, so I'm not going to cover this part over here, mostly on knowledge management. That's something else. Okay, so now we can actually get into the illustrative part. So I kind of show you guys what to pay attention to. So the first animation I'm going to cover and also show you I guess the work files, right? The under the hood is the commotion logo animation. So this actually took me a month. It's like even though it lasts for like 5 seconds, it took me a month. But it's not. I'm not working on it every day. It was just it was very tricky to make because this is the original logo design that was given to me to animate. What's tricky about this logo is you compare to the past 3 years of commotion is that it's this weird like isometric design. It's 3D, it's 2D at the same time. It's not physically accurate, or like it's an optical illusion with the counter of the O. You can see the background like that. And you compare it to the logos for last year, it's all like flat, very very straightforward. It's very flat. So that was a big challenge. Like, how do we animate like this? Like, do we do it in 3D or do we animate in 2D, like in After Effects, right? So, did the experimenting, but I a lot of back and forth. So, end of the day, the solution was both. It was a hybrid, which is what we're actually covering today, right? This hybrid process of using 3D to make 2D looking stuff. So what I did was, which I'll show you more later, the work files, is that the commotion logo was first modeled in like Cinema4D, and each face of each letter, right? It's like assign a material, that is like either RGB, right? And then subsequently, this is brought into After Effects, and I already have a series of like textures. So these are the textures used for the logo animation. And then I was able to kind of map the textures onto each face. Let's say the red channel for this first block over here, right, with the textures that I want. So you might think to yourself, why not just do everything in Cinema 4D, right? The thing is, it's like we have a lot of moving parts. You can't just do it completely in Cinema 4D, because there was some part that was just, like I say, the optical illusion, the stylization to match the logo. You cannot to match it like one to one to the original logo. You have to kind of cheat it in compositing phase. So this is the final outcome of the animation, and I will show you guys just um, the work files, and then you can see what I'm talking about more in details. At this point, do you guys have any questions? No? Okay. Okay. So After Effects. Okay, so here is that work file over here. So I'm gonna close this. Yeah, it's pretty heavy file. Okay, so like I said just now, right? The process begin with that 3D animation that was made in Cinema 4D. So if I go to one block over here, right? Let me go to this asset. It's just like that, just an RGB, right? The logo. You can see there's some glitching over here is because it's not glitch, it's more like um, I only wanted the first block, and I used an alphabet to get rid of the rest. So don't worry about that weird glitch you see there. You can see the top face is red, in screen, and then blue. And then after that, what I did was, right, in this composition over here is, so I'm over here, you can see I'm trying to match the logo. Let me just turn off like one by one. So using, okay, so this is the texture. Okay. Okay, so over here are the footage. Let me turn off the effects as well. Okay, so this is original, right? Just like I said, just a raw render. And what's so special about each layer is that we use a set mat, right? And then let me just actually turn this off. Okay, so we're looking at this green channel over here. Let me turn off the effects and see. So what I'm doing is referencing the green channel, right? So you see the alpha over here. I'm using an effect called set mat. And then I'm isolating the green channel, and then I can apply a gradient ramp over it so you don't see and you don't affect the other of it. Now I need to stylize it. So I add some grain to it and turn on the effects, right? So this, like I said, we have to kind of cheat to match the logo. So there's like extra layers. You cannot just do it with just one channel, right? And that's it. Color it. Yes, you have to fine tune the grain to match the logo design. So you can see it using gradient ramp, scatterizing, and then I'm using the set matte effect to just isolate it within the green channel. And I repeat the whole process, right? Now we have, let's ignore that one. That was more for the line. We repeat that for the blue channel. We use a set matte, right? So for the blue channel over here, it's a flat color. So cool. I just put a pink on it. And then we move on to the red channel. And let me just isolate this one over here, turn off the effects. So this is just the footage, right? I'm using a set matte effect to set it to the red channel. And then after that, I put on a fill effect. So you can see if I combine everything now. Okay, so you can see, let me turn on the effects. So I'm just covering one block at a time, one face of the block at a time. Now then repeat this for for 3 other blocks, right? So that's how you accomplish this 3D, like this 3D to 2D look. Of course, I'll demo you how to on how to implement this from scratch later. For now, we're just going through like the process, like a walkthrough of the case study before we actually make anything. Okay, the next thing I want to cover is just like stylization. In the title sequence, we have these very nice colorful blocks. It was tricky because again, it's like the question is it 2D? Is it 3D? Do we do it in After Effects? Do we do it in Cinema4D? So this is probably the one of the last shot that we worked on because we couldn't figure it out. So actually it's all done within After Effects. It's all 2D, right? It's just like stacking layers to in a way. I create a rig that to model the rectangles in After Effects. So this is the rig that one of my animator used to create the animation. So I'm in my role here. It's mostly to just build the tools for my team so they can move on with the process. But what I want to focus here for today's workshop is the stylization. What does it look like 3D? Right? It kind of look, it's not, it's not completely flat. It looks very volumetric, and this is because of the layer styling, which I will cover later. So if you guys use Photoshop, right, this layer style, you can add drop shadow, you can add stroke, you can add bevel, you can add satin, you can add inner shadow, inner glow, all that. So that's how I use, that's what I did to create this look over here, right? And it's just simply changing the colors to kind of also vary them up. So there's no fancy trick to it. It's just like a series of small tools that you already have in After Effects. So here's a demonstration of the tool of this like setup by Molly, who is here right now. Good job, Molly. Okay, so all right. So how does this matter to today's workshop? Today we are going to kind of implement what I just taught you. We are going to put it into practice by recreating one of this style frame from my friend. So this using King's website. She was the art director for CoMotion, and she have all these wonderful style frames. So this is like a final a senior project. Yes, yeah. Oh, she already graduated. So yeah, but I think she haven't finished animation, or she was still working on it. So we're gonna try and recreate this shot over here, focusing on this 3D gem, right? Trying to color it, stylize it, trying to model it in Cinema4D, and then putting in After Effects. And then after that, I'll show you guys the same workflow, the RGB channel, texturing, as well as the layer style. So before I proceed, do you guys have any question?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm really new to After Effects and stuff, so I'm not sure if it's a stupid question. But you said the project that you just showed us, these blocks, they were all made in After Effects. Is that what you said?
Yes, it is. It was made in After
And
Effects.
okay, and think maybe I'm doing it wrong. But when I'm trying to do the 3D in After Effects, a lot of other effects are not like working with it. I feel
Oh, you,
that true.
oh, I,
Yeah.
are you using like you are you using like the 3D render engine where you
Mm-hmm.
extrude using a shape layer?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that works as well. But the thing is that, like you say, because it becomes like a true 3D in After Effects, so you cannot put
Ah,
effects. This is all 2D. All
ah,
the
okay.
faces of like the of this block is just like linked together
Mm,
in we're using expression. So you can see like you notice how like when Mali click here, right? You can see
mhm.
that the surface it's like the first surface is flat, like facing towards us.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, so there's a tutorial on YouTube like how to assemble, let's say 3D cube After Effects. That's yeah, you can try using that. So this one over here, 3D cube,
Okay, cool,
this
cool.
one over here. Okay,
Nice,
but
nice.
I just use a different method.
Okay, okay. Cool, got you. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so let's go into this into the implementation. All right, so here is what we are going to recreate. So this is just a very quick replication of that style frame, just to refresh everyone's memory. Let's look at it again. All right, it's from over here. Okay, so I'm gonna play it, and then so you guys at least know what came out the animation. Then I'll go through like from Cinema4D to After Effects stuff. All right. Okay. So I'm right now running Zoom and After Effects, so it's pretty slow. So let's be patient, guys. In the meantime, feel free to ask me any question. Am I going too fast, guys? You guys understand? Okay. All right. Almost there. Okay, let me just run preview it now. Okay. I can. Not sure if you guys can hear my laptop just overheating. Okay. All right, you guys get a picture. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hit escape and come on. After Effects work with me. Okay, I'm just gonna just stop it at the last frame, so you guys can see the final. So it's the same technique. Oh my god, After Effects. With spring like warming up, right? With the weather warming up, it's like my laptop is getting slower and slower. Uh, compared to winter when it's cold. Okay, let me just go up to the last frame and then, okay, cool. We have the crystal. Okay, so we are going to learn how to make this, right? So we start off by going into Cinema4D. So I'll show you guys how it was produced, right? Well, I won't teach you how to like model it. It's just like, you know, it's just like a pyramid. And you just move the points appropriately. But I'll show you guys how to prepare your model to be for the compositing and the stylization process in After Effects. Okay, so I'm going to open up Cinema 4D, and I should probably close After Effects because it will slow down. So it'll be faster. Okay. In the meantime, let me go turn on the. Oh wait, hold on. Actually, it's all right. Okay, so and Cinema 4D is here. I'm gonna open up the project. Okay, so here is the model, right? It's very simple. Um, so you don't really need to know advanced Cinema 4D for this technique, right? It's basically just a pyramid, and then I just introduce one point, push it up, and becomes this gem thingy. Okay, so this has been made a polygon. It has been made editable. So I press the short hotkey is C to make it editable. What I mean by editable, it means that now I can go into hold on a sec. Let me switch into the model mode. Uh, I can switch into point mode, right? I can select the point and I can move it like that. So that's what making editable means. It's like you somewhat release all the points and surfaces to be editable. Well, like it says, editable. And so what you want to do first when you have your model, hopefully, usually some sort of geometric shape, because this is like a very common technique that we use in, I guess, our motion media department. You want to go into window, and if you don't have the material manager open up, right, we want to create several materials. So to create a material, we can double click on it, and then after that, you can double click again the material. Let's name the first one R, and then let's turn off everything. We want to work with the luminance channel. The luminance channel does not take in any light information. So if you were to render it, it becomes flat. Like there's no shading, there's no lighting information over there. Okay, so we create our first material over here. That's R for red. Let's click and drag and hold on Command two more times. One more time, and then call this one G, and then we can make this to be green. And the last one, well, it's the blue channel. I'm sure you guys figured that out. So again, we're using the luminance channel, and make sure everything is turned off, right? Now that we have all this channel, what we want to do is to, go to the face mode. And then after that, we can actually just click and drag and drop the material to the face that we want. So you want to vary it up, right? Like alternate it. So we start off with red first, then we start with green. And then after that, for the sides, I'm hold down shift and select the other face and just make it blue. And then, there's no specific order to it as long as they all vary, because in a way you want to color them separately. So this one could be red. You can make it green, that'd be fine as well. And for the back, again, you can use, because you have the choice of any, so you can make this blue as well. Okay. Let me select that again and put it here. Cool. So you'll be like that. I guess I accidentally make it green, so let me put it back to green. Okay, and you can see that on our object panel over here, you can see all the different material that has been placed onto the surface. Okay, so in a way, all we need to do is just animate this a little bit, and then render it out to After Effects. So I actually done that already, because I don't want to show you guys like the animation process. It's just a simple rotation, right? There's not much going on here. I just introduce a camera so it stays frontal and animate the rotation to spin it around. So that's only an addition over here. And then let's go into our render setting, like what do we render as? I'm using a standard render. You don't need redshift for this. The standard render is fine. So this is like just a demo. So I'm working in just HD 1280 by 720. And as for the file size, the file type, it's more important. You want to select PNG. You can work with EXR as well, but for this such a small scale thing, let's work with PNG. Set it alpha. Make sure you have alpha channel so it becomes transparent. So I'm just rendering just the 90 frames. So if you see over here, if I switch to animate panel, right? It's just 90 frames, just it like rotating from one end, just 360 turn. Okay, so I render this out, and then they come in the form of like the PNG. I'll show you how it looks like. I'm gonna re-import it anyway. So they are all like rendered out like that, right? Transparent, they're all transparent. So we can use that information After Effects. Okay, so I can now close Cinema4D. Wait, before I close Cinema4D, any questions about the 3D part? It's pretty straightforward, right? Right, we just assign RGB. Okay. Anyway, if you guys do not use Cinema4D, in that link that I sent on the Zoom chat, there's a basic introduction workshop to Cinema4D. Okay, let's go back to After Effects, and okay. So while that is turning on, let me turn on the AC so my laptop doesn't overheat. Okay, well, After Effects is opening up. Oh, for those who don't know, Cinema4D or like don't have Cinema4D, just remember that since we're students, it's free for us, right? You have to pay like what do you call it, the processing fee to get the student license code. It costs like what, $3? Was it $5? That's the only fee you pay, and it lasts for like 6 months, and then after that you keep repeating a process. It's a bit of hassle, but that's how you can get like Cinema4D, Redshift for free, as well as Red Giant plugins as well. So I highly recommend, make sure you get a Cinema4D license. Okay, so let me open up the work file. Right, so here is that sequence that I have rendered out. So to do it from scratch, right, I'm just double click on the project panel. Okay, so this is like a quick way to tell After Effects to import stuff. I'm gonna go back and go to my asset folder, and then I'm gonna go into this folder called GeoGem. Okay, I'm gonna create a composition and click open. Okay, so it's over here already, right? I'm gonna call this one demo. Okay, so we're gonna begin with like texturing each channel, right? The RGB. So what we want to do is we can hit Command Y to create a new solid, and maybe we can name this one R, right, for red. And then after that, we can go into our effects and preset panel. And then by hitting Command 5 on Mac and Control 5 on Windows, we're gonna look for Set Matte. Okay, try not to use Set Channel, because Set Channel it works similar, but then it's like there's some aliasing issue. So don't try not to use Set Channel, but use Set Matte instead. Okay, we're gonna reference the PNG sequence. So maybe I'll just rename this one called sequence, right, called SEQ, so we can see it clearly. We're going to use for the matte, we want it to be the red channel, right? You can see that now it's the black part, it's isolated. It's just the black solid is isolated within the red channel. If I switch it between the green channel, you can see that it's only occupying the green channel, and same goes for the blue channel. Okay, so now that we got our red channel isolated, we can add in a 4-color gradient. So back to our effects and preset, right? We can type in 4-color gradient, and then after that, you want to put it closer to your geometry faces over here, so you get that variation of color. So I'm gonna just quickly shift everything here, and we'll just I'm not gonna match it as close, match it accordingly to King's style frame. I am just going to quickly eyeball it. So maybe let's click on that and let's make it a little bit more violet, like that. Okay, so make sure like you get a good gradation, right? You can see right now it's pretty subtle. So maybe I can bring this one point over here. See, the point, the good thing about like doing this is that you get more control. Of course, you can always create the material within Cinema4D, but sometimes it's like, I think people are not used to it. People like to work in Cinema4D directly. I don't know, in After Effects directly. For me, I like that, because sometimes it's a hassle, right? Cinema4D, you don't see things somewhat real time. You gotta keep rendering stuff, and then it might not be stylized accordingly. Anyway, we finished the red channel. Let's hit Command D, and let's rename this to be the green channel. Now we're just going to switch this red channel to the green channel, right? No surprise there. And then after that, we can change the colors. So I'm gonna just make it like super obvious, so you guys can see the difference. So maybe I'll make it something reddish, like let me just add a pink color over here, and then this one, let's make it let's see, let's grab something super red, or maybe even something even darker. Let's reposition it. So the thing about this technique is that it's highly stylized, which means that it's not true to like reality in terms of lighting. It's just a simulation. So if you're trying to go for something that is realistic, this is not your way to go. But then again, I mean, the whole point of this, you doing this, is to make it like super stylized. Okay, so let's select there, all right? So we got the green channel done, all right? And now let's hit Command D and do the blue channel. So let's switch this to blue, and to speed things up, let's just put in a hue and saturation. So you guys just won't just see me picking colors. Just scrub it to something else. Okay. Yeah, sure, that's fine. I don't really like the yellow. Okay. Let me find something more appealing. Say this blue, okay? And so right now, and let me just rename that to be blue. So I'm renaming it, like I like to use, like, shorthand, right? R for red, G for green, rather than typing everything itself. So sometimes people might animate those, like, position of the solid to match the face, but I think the idea is like, can people tell the difference, right? If you move it, it's, for me it's like, it's believable, right? Even though it's like flat, it's just a frontal paste on, like it still works. So you do you. If you want to be specific or add some secondary motion, you can animate the full color gradient. But for the purpose of this demonstration, we're not going to do it. Okay, so we kind of stylize it, using that technique in CoMotion. And let me just stop playing here. Again, like I said, my After Effects is not working because it's it's working really hard with Zoom turned on. Okay, it's not responding. Well, now is also a good time to let me ask again. Do you have any questions? Gee. Okay, let me just stop share. All right. Let me stop share and reshare again, and maybe even turn on After Effects. Sorry, guys. Please bear with me. Be patient. It's okay. Okay. All right. I think it's working out. Wow. Okay. And note to self, like, let me not make sure I don't press the play button again. Okay. And share my screen again. All right. Okay. Cool. Things are paused. So it's not lagging. And okay, so next step is, how do we make this look more appealing? So if you see the reference that I made earlier, right, you can see that there is all this, like, there is a stroke, some sort of stroke, but it's actually caused by the, for my last frame again, there is this like white glow around it, and also shadow, and then gives it some sort of like that volumetric illusion. Again, this is a stylized 3D look, not 3D reality. Okay, to do so, we need to use layer style, much like using the same technique as the one in commotion, those colorful blocks. To create a layer style, right? We go to layer, make sure to select the layer, and we can create like inner shadow, and we are going to need as well as inner glow. And you can honestly just add everything, and then after that, turn on turn on and off, like which one that doesn't work. We can add satin as well, and the last one that we need is stroke. Okay, and you can see it's not really that appealing right now, right? So we'll go through it one by one. So let's turn off, even though I added everything, let me turn off, and let's just open up inner shadow, right? So what you want to do is, we want it to be soft. I think the thing about like grid shadow is that it always looks soft. So we increase the size like that. Maybe you want to turn down the opacity so it doesn't look like it's like caving in, or like it looks like there's some sort of depth within it. And what makes it kind of how to say, more appealing is adding noise. But you got to be careful because you can see there's this triangle over here already. So you got to find a good balance, right, where you increase the size where it's enough. Okay, so let's just say, and let's change the distance. Yeah, you can shift the distance if you want to, or you can use the global light, right? You can stylize the color of the gradient of the noise if you want to by changing the color, but we're not gonna do that. Next is add inner glow. Same process. The idea is to increase the size. We want to get the nice feathery look, but not too obvious, right? So we can reduce the opacity of this inner glow to be subtle like that. Maybe you want to change the blending mode to be soft light. I mean, my favorite blending mode is always soft light because it's like it's not overkill. It adds an effect, but it's not super obvious. Bevel and emboss, it's a little bit like a bonus. Sometimes I don't think it's necessary, but I have because I make my own preset, and this is one of them. And you can choose to remove it or like play with it. You can increase the softness. I think right now it's just looking too stiff, right? And then so you can soften it, or we can just turn it off. I have the recipe written down over here, so if you guys want to take a screenshot of it, right, you can. So this is the blending mode that is used for that. Not blending mode. This is the what do you call that? The layer styles used for that preview animation that I made. Right. So I have bevel emboss, I have satin, I have gradient overlay, but we're just going to focus on the bevel emboss, satin, and the stroke. Okay. So let's go back to our demo over here. Right. Let's turn on. Let's actually see full out settings over there. So ours bevel emboss 160 16. So pretty simple, right? Let me just reset the bevel and emboss, bring this upwards so we can see it clearly. So we have 160 for size. Or was it depth? Wait. Let's see. It was 160 for size and then soften at 16. Okay, so let's try that. And if we don't like it, we can always remove it. So you can, so it kind of looks different now, right? It looks a little even more stylized. So let's keep it there and let's move on to satin. Satin is more of like, it's like in a shadow, right? You can either shadow from the center or shadow from the edges. So you can actually invert it to add like a more layer of shadow and change the blending mode to soft light if you want to. But again, this is like probably the most important one is the inner shadow or inner glow, and you can add in the stroke. You can change it to white, right? The good thing is that once you've done one of these, you can just copy and paste onto the rest of the layer, and you can also save it out as an animation preset. Okay, let me just turn off the background. Okay, and then after that, I'm gonna copy this. Right, I'm not gonna make it like exact one-to-one as I show you. But yeah, I'm gonna just paste it over here. You can see the stroke is not working, so let's actually turn off the stroke, right? And then just copy the layer style again. So you need to. This is like a try and error process. This only looks more 3D now, like the stylized 3D. And I wish I could play it, but let's not risk my After Effects, going crazy. Actually, it's better now. I turn on the AC, um, so it looks more iridescent with all the layer styles, right? And again, if you want to achieve the look that I made in over here, just follow this recipe over here, this layer style, right? So I'm sure you guys on laptop can take a screenshot, or you can just refer to the recording later. Okay. Now that we have this, I guess we're pretty much done with this illustrative style. Now the rest is just compositing. How do we make it look even better? Let's hit Command K and just make this about 500 and 500, right? So now we have prepped the asset ready to be used for compositing, right? In a way, whatever we've been doing is pretty just modeling and texturing, right? We model in C4D and we texture it in After Effects. Okay, so now we have this asset. I can just bring it into a new composition. I can hit Command K and then make this 12. I'm gonna make this HD. Okay, and I can scale it down. And then after that, what I did to kind of tile them is I use this thing called Rapid Tile. So try not to use motion tile. I know there's a lot of tiling effects in After Effects. Motion tile is the one that will make your renders like 3 hours long, even though it lasts for it's very minor. Try not to use yeah, motion tile. But anyway, let's use Rapid Tile. We set the 500 pixel expand down and up. And you can actually flip the V, so it's kind of like pointing in alternating direction. Or you can try different modes to see what you get, right? I think, yeah, what I used was, yeah, V, okay? And then, I would duplicate it, right, twice. So I move one to the side and move one to the to the right hand side, and then make them 3D. All right, I'm gonna hit Command D, and after that, push it backwards. Oops. The thing about Reptile is that it only works in the X and Y axis, so it does not work for Z, but that's all right because After Effects got 2.5D software. So I'm gonna duplicate again, and then after shift this up, and then press P, push it back again. So we want just 3 layers, right? And then we can create a new camera. Okay, so I'm just going to right click, new camera, and then after that, one node camera, click OK. We want actually depth of field. So we also want to take a look at, so we can actually, mess with the f-stop right now, right? We increase the aperture and move the focus distance. So let me create it first because it's not previewing correctly. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let me double click on it. And now we can change the setting and still look at this and still get that, and still have the preview, right? So I'm focusing on the front, and maybe I can increase the f-stop, not reduce the f-stop. Let me say 0.2. That's too much, so maybe 0.5. So that should do. I hit enter, okay? And then we can animate the camera, say going from a little bit like inwards. I mean, like we're gonna zoom out, right? So I zoom in first, and after that, it's gonna zoom out like that as it turns. Okay. And the rest is just, okay, how do we make this better? We can, introduce a background layer. So new, solid, and then let's call this BG. And if you refer to the style frame again, right, it's a lot of like gradient color over here. So it's good to just use for color gradient for this, or you can use a RAM that works as well. Let's put this at the back. Okay, and then we can change this to be dark blue. Same thing for the green. Okay, change it to something dark, maybe more purple. Last one. Okay, let's change it to maybe a lighter blue, whatever you want, something like that. I don't like this very bright blue, so maybe I switch it up. And if you want more control, I mean, if you want, you can use curves, right, which is a color correction tool. Maybe you want it to be more saturated, not saturated, but darker, so you can push it down like that. Again, this blue is too bright, so we can reduce it. Right, so it looks a little bit more cinematic, more serious. We have depth of field, we have a dark background. What else can we do? We can also introduce noise, right? What makes it usually when people want to do that stylized gradient look, they always use add noise. So we can right click adjustment layer, and then we can go to effects and preset panel and type in noise. And let's go to the noise over here. Okay, over here, and you can use about 7%, right? So it suddenly kind of hides. It's like it hides the blemishes. It suddenly it makes it hard to detect, like it's the fake 2D 3D thingy. And then what you can also do is to add in posterized time. Think about my theory is that people like that fake 3D 2D look is because they want to simulate like frame by frame animation. So the thing about frame by frame animation is that you animate on twos or animate on threes, right? In After Effects, when we animate, we're always animating 30 frames per second. So things looks very smooth. So you also want to stylize, you want to alter how time is interpolated in After Effects by using this effect called posterized time. And you can set the frame rate to 12, 15, right? So it's a very subtle thing, right? But it gives it that look of like, oh, it's not very smooth. It has this maybe a handmade effect. That's my interpretation. I'm not sure if you guys feel the same. Okay, cool. All right, now that the AC on, okay, my After Effects not lagging that bad. And maybe what we can do is that, obviously we're missing the most important component in in this compositing process, which is glow. You gotta add glow. So there's many glow that you can use. The sexiest glow you'll ever find After Effects is this thing called Deep Glow, but it's a paid plugin, so it automatically makes things like super nice. But I just want to show you guys like how it looks, in case you want to buy it. It's like $12. So consider investing it if you're a fan of glow stuff like I am. Like my default thing to do is like if things don't work out in design, just add a glow on top of it. I know it's not good, but that's just how it works. But that's deep glow for you. Okay, now we compare to let's try another glow that it's third party as well, but it's from Red Giant. So if you get the Maxon one, you get the Cinema4D license, you also get Red Giant. So optical glow, it also works pretty well as well. Like you can alter it, and then there's not it still looks pretty good. uh let's see, let me just also change yeah the alpha channel to preserve original. It's just less settings to move, like to make a nice glow with optical glow, but it could be better. But let's just use standard glow in After Effects. Oh wait, let me try star glow. Star glow is always a good effect. And it's fun because you can have a lot of settings. There's a lot of presets they already have. So again, this is from with Red Giant. So that looks pretty cool. Maybe the highlights are overblown. Let's get rid of it. All right, I know you guys are probably working with barebone After Effects, so just add a normal glow. Yeah, the thing about like normal glow is that it creates a lot of these weird artifacts, right? Suddenly all the color blend together, super obvious. And what you want to do is just reduce actually increase the threshold, increase the radius, right? You want to basically soften things up, and then you can reduce the intensity. Sometimes you have to rely on two sets of glow effect to kind of make it look nice. The first one is maybe like that, and then I hit Command D, right? And then after that, for the second one, I can increase the radius, reduce the threshold, so things pop a little bit more. So it looks nicer, right? So that's the thing about using like just standard glow, is that you have to kind of figure out two sets of settings. So maybe that's nice. So let's select both of them, copy it, and paste it onto the rest, right? So this makes it more pops out. I think we're actually pretty much like we're done with like this demonstration. The rest is just again compositing tricks, color correction stuff. So what you want to do to make the scene kind of better. The glow is probably too strong, but uh, whatever. We'll leave it as this because we're out of time. You can add a vignette, right? So we can I create a solid using Command Y. I'm gonna use a mask and just select the middle, and then invert it, press MM, and then increase the feather, and then reduce the opacity down to maybe 25%, right? So we don't get maybe 50%. So we've only focused on the center like that, right? We have a focal point in the middle, and you know, the rest is just because this is a recreation. Just have fun with it, right? Create a new solid, hit Command Y. We're gonna create a lens flare, so we can go into the effects and preset panel. Okay, and then we can set it to 105 millimeters, and then we can switch to the blending mode to be screen, so it's transparent. And then after that, we can put it in the center, and we can put this at the back, right? So you can suddenly see that the glow is not working very well, right? It's a very ugly glow. So maybe if we turn off the glow, it might look better. Oops. All right, the reptile is in it. But yeah, you can use basically I want to show that you can use, if you want to animate some light, you can use the lens flare behind it. And sometimes lens flare is very obvious in terms of all this like glows, right? All these circles and streaks. You can just add a fast blur on top of it, fast box blur, and then you add a 5 pixel blur. That usually kind of soften things up. Okay, again, like I said, the glows, I'm not a big fan of the glow right now. Definitely needs more work. But yeah, that concludes like the demonstration of this skill, of this like illustrative design with 3D 2D stuff. You guys have any questions? you can put it on the, if you have a question, you can also put it on the chat. Oh, thanks, Josephine. Well, guess you guys are too stunned with what I've shown you. Speechless. Oh, you guys are not even there. Okay, but if there's no question, I'll just give you guys some additional readings where you can learn more about commotion and the techniques that we use. Wait, before that, let me just answer a question from Sarah. Is motion media a drawing heavy job? No, not as much as animation. Motion media, let me just also get this right. Motion media design, the major, is a made up term by SCAD. Okay. The official term is motion graphics or motion design. Uh, just like an Easter egg for you guys who don't know. But in motion, in our department, there's not really rules, right? Some people like to implement visual effects methodologies. Some people like to use animation where it's a little bit more hand drawn. Some people love 3D. Some people love experiential. So you decide like what you want your art to be. Motion media, our program has a lot of flexibility. I can show you some example, but most traditionally, I guess, conventionally, like a lot of people love to draw. Their style is just illustrative, and they do like they do style animation, but minimum, like not so much to the point whereby like you're slaving over the like a light box or over a wake or a Cintiq. So I can show you. Actually, gonna show you guys a website. So some website of commotion process that can kind of answer your question as well, Sarah. So this is the first person to learn more about in motion media. Our department is very heavily process oriented. So this is Miharu's website, process based on commotion, and she's a creative director for the commotion type sequence. So you can see how she laid things out. She sees herself more of like an animator, I believe. And this was a very funny one that I want to share. It's because commotion is this
Commotion 2022 pitch winner was pitch H, which is Miharu.
So commotion, who gets to design the commotion tile sequence, it's based on student votes. So, the student club Mobile Love will receive all the submission from students, and then it's all anonymous, right? And students just vote. So that was their reaction video to their team winning the pitch. I just discovered today. So, check out Miharu's website. It's a bit more fun where she talks about like I guess the more casual aspect of the production. I mean, sure, she explained all the details and stuff, but she have like all this like behind the scene. Commotion is a lot of work, and so this is one saga that we have. I think they were having some problems. Monty Jesus, Monty Allah, Monty Buddha. Anyway, back to like I guess the idea of like motion media and style. If you go to a website, Miaru, why can't I go back to your homepage? She likes to do hand drawn animation. I guess based on what I see here. So there is there's opportunity to do drawings. And then so let's play this one over here. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's very so cell animation is a laborious process. So we want to do it. It's because it looks pretty cool, but we also try not to do it because it takes so much time. So same goes for like that fake 3D thing, 2D thing. It's all just to speed up like production process. Let's take a look at Olivia Trotter. She also has a process. She's more 3D oriented. She started from she did the animation BFE program. So all the 3D assets was kind of made by her, right? All these materials. And you can see this video over here. Oh wait, sorry, wrong one. This is the one without the sound. Where is it? Oh, there we go. The process. Yeah. So everyone have their own take on motion media. Okay, my video is lagging. So that was Olivia Strotter's work, a process. She was the 3D animation lead for CoMotion. So if you love 3D, you can aspire to be like her. For me, my own style is I'm not good at drawing. I don't like to draw. I see myself as I prefer to animate. So I like to code as well. So my work involves like more procedural stuff. I would say it's more a lean towards like commotion, visual effects methods rather than say animation. So you can check it out on my website. Okay, Sarah has one last question. Can I get a motion graphic job with a VFX degree? Yes, you can, plenty. I think okay, you guys gotta think about like this major thing is that it's not like a done deal, right? If you major in visual effects, you have to do visual effects for the rest of your life. There are many people who I have a friend who does illustration as a degree, and then he freelanced for a bit and realized that it was hard, and then he learned a bit of motion design. He did some motion design classes in SCAD, and then when he graduated, he built upon it. He's now a motion designer. For you, same things, right? You have a VFX degree, people will go to like PsyOp. Oh, actually, let's bring up the commotion website again. So if you, let's see, attendees. So you can get jobs. The thing about like it's better honestly if you come from another major because you're more specialized. If I try to compete with the motion design department as a motion designer, I have it's a lot, right? But you as a visual effects degree or major come in, it's like, okay, you're clearly good at visual effects. I'm not good at visual effects. You stand out more. So all these companies, it's all under they all like do motion design / visual effects. They're very closely related. I think PsyOp is like one of them that hires like people who do like both motion design and visual effects. Just check out their website. Of course, make sure you pitch yourself saying that you have motion graphics background. Thing it goes down to your positioning, your branding. Frame Store and the Mill always come each year, so they're always looking for people who are good at visual effects as well. I mean, with a focus in motion design. Give me a sec while I put the cat out. Okay. All right. She was taking a nap. And have you can get any job you want with any degree. Just make sure you position yourself to do so. Like my friend who was a ITGM major, he's very good at Unreal Engine or Maya stuff, and he didn't exactly want a motion design job. He wants to work in game dev, but he was able to easily get a job at Maptic, doing like virtual production and also experiential design, because he has a background in doing the game dev stuff, which is related to what they're doing. I don't know why their website is not loading. So so don't just focus on a major. Branch out and position yourself. I wish I could show you the website. It's really cool. Anyone else have any questions? Yeah, Maptic. Yeah, they do projection mapping, installation, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So again, as I was saying just now, motion design, it's anything you want it to be. It can even be, it doesn't have to be for the screen, but it can be for like surfaces of like real world objects or buildings. Okay. Oh, I missed the question from B about for import. Did I import a whole PNG folder or just a frame? When you click on like one frame, one image, PNG image, After Effects was somewhat like identify. We'll ask you like, do you want this checkbox saying like you want to import it as a PNG sequence? You can check on it and you import it as a sequence. Importing a folder will make import like a folder full of images, so you don't want that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no problem, Daria. We have the same last name. It's very rare.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. If you guys don't have a question, feel free to leave and enjoy your weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Molly.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Thank
Will.
you.
See you guys.